Many thanks for staying with us. Remember, this is your election headquarters. Now, time to talk about some election-related issues right here on News Desk. And there's growing concern for a smooth organization of this year's elections due to take place in about 4 months' time. Now, the law to regulate the polls is still not ready. That's the main reason. Constitutional Instrument 94, which was placed before Parliament last month, has still not matured after 20 sitting days. Now, the members of the New Patriotic Party in the Doma Central constituency are questioning the legality of the ongoing voter exhibition exercise in the absence of a constitutional instrument. Well, according to them, most of the processes that are currently being engaged in by the Electoral Commission are unlawful. Joining me on the phone now is the NPP's organizer for the Doma Central constituency, Seth Asare, with some more. Mr. Asare, good morning. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk, sir.
Good morning, my friend.
Okay, so I just want to understand really what your issues are. If you could just take us through one after the other, and then maybe I could also take a look at your statement, and then we could have a fruitful discussion here, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me extend my regards to all your listeners. And I think I heard your intro, and that is a different story from ours. We are not contesting the legality of the ongoing exhibition exercise. Rather, we aired out our complaint against some misconduct of some of the exhibition officers and officials of NDC during the exhibition exercise. So that was what was contained in our press conference. If I can continue.
Please do.
Compare. All right. You could all remember that the running mate of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said that along the border, there are a lot of foreign names on our register. And that was sternly contested by the NDC and then the Electoral Commission. So we took it upon ourselves, as members of the party along the border, to go and investigate and find out how many people are on our registers who are not Ghanaians and who are not residents in the towns and areas they have registered. And that research has gone on for about a year now. Now, the opportunity has availed itself during the exhibition exercise. You remember that the CI 91 gives us the opportunity to go through the exhibition centers and then object to names that we feel are not supposed to be on the register. And that was exactly what we sought to do at the various exhibition centers, where the list that we had, the list that our people along the borders had prepared for us, and then we had investigated them and had found out that all those people on the list were living beyond the border. That is, either in Ivory Coast, in Burkina, or some of them even came from Niger to come and register. These exercises didn't go through smoothly like we expected it to be, because some exhibition officers resisted it, claiming that we had to go and bring those people who were objecting to physically to the exhibition center before they could allow us to object to their names. But the CI says...
Mr. Asare, just a second. Mr. Asare, if you're contesting someone's eligibility to be on the electoral roll,
yeah,
obviously you do need some evidence to back your claim. So unless, of course, you're telling me you did not have any evidence, but you still felt it was necessary or prudent to raise the issue, then where lies the conflict?
We have our evidence.
Okay, which is?
And the CI doesn't tell us to show our evidence at the exhibition center. The CI mandates us to object to the names and then meet those people at a magistrate court to provide our evidence.
And you're accusing the electoral officers of doing what exactly? Of preventing you from raising these concerns?
Not giving us the objection form. Their duty is to give us the objection form, fill it for us, let us print, then I will indicate my address on it so that the Electoral Commission can serve me as it serves the person being objected to.
But again, it depends on the electoral officer present to determine whether or not the allegation or the claim you are making is substantive enough, is something worth pursuing. So if based on what you said, he or she felt there was no need to pursue it, really, you still think you have a case?
Unless, of course, you want to create your own CI. Because the CI is the regulation that is used for this exercise, CI 91. And the CI says that if anybody has a problem, the person wants to object to, the exhibition officer shall fill the form to be endorsed by the person making the objection. So, if the exhibition officer feels that I don't have enough facts or the relevant information or evidence, what is his problem? Fill it for me. You are not endorsing it. I am endorsing it. And I am the one who will go to court to prove it. You are not the one to go to court. So why do you resist? They have vested interest in those names.
What, the Electoral Commission has vested interest in those names? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying Electoral Commission. I'm saying those electoral officers. Because it is not all the electoral officers that did that. Those 4 electoral officers that we have mentioned in our press statement.
Mr. Sorry, you speak of these electoral officers, and these are persons who are working for the Electoral Commission. And if you are saying that they have vested interest in those names, well, that raises a lot of questions. What really do you mean by that?
That is why we have petitioned the district electoral officer on the conduct of those 4 exhibition officers. Right? We have petitioned the district electoral officer to look into that matter and find out why those people resisted our effort.
Do you have reason to believe that they may be these 4 officers you speak of? Do you have reason to believe that they may be working in the interest of a particular party?
Well, if we will do that, then it is based on their conduct during the exhibition exercise.
So their conduct gives you enough reason to think that...
We did not have anything earlier against them. But their conduct makes us think that they have vested interest in those names that we were trying to object.
So as things stand now, yes, you have come out to the press conference. You've subsequently followed with a statement and a petition. What more do you seek to do?
Oh, what we seek to do now, and as I speak with you now, I'm at the magistrate court in Wampie, waiting to be heard on those objections that we successfully executed.
So you're in court?
Said, it wasn't all the exhibition officers who resisted our effort. Most of the exhibition officers went according to the law. And so they provided the objection forms, they filled it, we endorsed them, and those forms have been brought to the magistrate court. Those people we objected to have been served. In fact, most of them, according to the Electoral Commission, they could not even find them to serve them because they are not living within the country. So we are there now. It is up to the court to determine whether what we did was legitimate or not. The conduct of some NDC top shots, like the parliamentary candidates of Somali Central NDC, and their chairman, was also something worth talking about. In fact, as for the NDC chairman, he even pulled out his shirt, went to our accredited agent, and then tried to fight him, and he ran away. Had he not run away, we would have beaten him up. At the exhibition center, the parliamentary candidate went to a local radio station, Gift FM, and then incited people to go and beat up our accredited agents.
Okay, well, we did not hear that particular one, so I'm not sure we can go into those areas. But essentially, the point you're making now is that you are in court hoping that you would get the needed ruling in your favor to ensure that these 4 persons you accuse of embarking on this very agenda, because for you, they have vested interest in...
we are in court on the basis of those who we objected to,
Okay.
not the EC officials.
Okay.
As for the EC officials, we have already given it to our lawyers
That's fine.
to serve them, and then when they are served, that one to be heard later on.
All right. Mr. Asare, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. Seth Asare is a constituency organizer for the Doma Central constituency, and we've been hearing him speak to a number of issues. Well, for starters, he says, well, there were quite a number of processes involved in the exhibition exercise a few weeks back, and those processes will give them reason to believe that some 4 electoral commission officers, well, they had vested interest in an illegality that was being perpetrated there, so they frustrated their process. Well, they were making most of their arguments on the CI 91 and particularly Regulation 23(2)C, which states that during the exhibition period, a person entitled to be registered as a voter may object, as set out in Form 7 of the schedule, to a person whose name appears in the provisional register of voters on the ground that the person is not qualified to be registered as a voter. Well, so primarily, their issue is premised on this very clause in the Constitution, and they are saying that, well, they were not even allowed to even raise the complaint or fill the necessary forms to ensure that these persons whose names obviously do not need to be on the register were taken off. So as things stand now, though, they are in court. We'll be bringing a lot more on what happens subsequently right here on your election headquarters. But let's still stay with some other legal issues. And an Accra-based legal practitioner has filed a writ at the Supreme Court seeking to injunct the president from granting pardon to 3 persons serving jail time for contempt. Elik Blim Agbemava wants the court to stop President John Dramani Mahama from considering a petition brought to him by lawyers of the 2 radio panelists and a show host. The petitioners are asking the president to invoke his powers under Article 72 of the Constitution and grant Alistair Nelson, Godwin Akogan, and Salif Umase, also known as Mugabe, pardon. The 3 are serving a 4-month prison sentence for threatening to kill judges in the country. Or supporters of the governing National Democratic Congress and government appointees have described the sentences as excessive and petitioned President Mahama to grant pardon to the 3. But a suit filed on Monday by lawyer Agbemava is seeking to prevent the president from freeing the 3 contemners. Now it says, quote, on a true and proper interpretation of Article 72 and 296 of the Constitution, the exercise of the power of prerogative of mercy ought to be governed by regulations that set out in an open and transparent manner the grounds and requirements for the submission and consideration of applications for pardon to ensure certainty, consistency, and fairness in the process that leads to the grant of pardons. End quote. We'll see how this goes, because it appears this very issue of these 3 gentlemen who have been jailed over some contempt charges is not going to go away anytime soon. We're trying to get a response particularly from government on this very issue. Been unsuccessful so far, but I do trust our colleagues on the Pulse team to bring you a lot more analysis as far as this very issue is concerned. Well, that particular program, that's our news and news analysis program. It airs at 3 p.m. right here on your Joy News channel.